Hey everybody,
Hi everyone from the beach.
Mr. and Mrs. Traveler here,
It's El Glam.
coming to you from our backyard, and we took a pause for the cause today because we wanted to bring an update to you just to recap what the current protocols are for the big three, Carnival, Royal Caribbean, and Norwegian, with regards to vaccination status. I know there's a lot of people out there, we get requests all the time saying, please let me know when unvaccinated can get on board these ships. So, let me kind of preface this by saying, I don't know if we'll see it this year, but we may. I think a lot of it's going to have to do with the economy and see how things are going with the cruise lines. Obviously, if they're going to need some more customers to get on board these ships, I think they'll probably change things as we come along here. So we may see these things change as we get to the end of the year, but I think we're going to go through the majority of 2022 with these protocols that we're going to go over right now.
Right.
Whether or not that changes this year, I don't know. I would fully expect by 2023 that we'll get back to regular sailing. Whether or not we have the testing and all that kind of stuff remains to be seen. But I know for those of you that don't have the vaccine, you're often curious on, when you can get back sailing. So just recapping real quick, kind of Carnival is the most complicated one, so we'll save that one for last. Royal Caribbean and Norwegian are virtually identical, so we'll go over that real quick. So for both of those cruise lines, 12 years and older, you have to have a vaccine. That's just the end of the story.
Yes. I think that's the most asked question under our videos right now.
Yeah. So, and then you have to have a COVID test within 48 hours of your sailing, and you're good to go. Unvaccinated on Royal Caribbean, which would be people under 12 years old, now they can go, but they're going to have to take a COVID test 3 days before the sailing, and it cannot be the day of the sailing, because when you get to the port, you're going to take another test at the port as well, free of charge, and this is for Royal Caribbean and Norwegian, for those guests under 12 years old who are traveling unvaccinated. If they are vaccinated, because I think you can get a vaccine from 5 years old and up right now, you can just, if you want to, submit the vaccine requirements, and then they can just be treated as a vaccinated guest.
Right.
So you have that option as well. If you have a sailing that's 5 nights or longer on these cruises, then they're going to also test them at debarkation as well. And if you have a back-to-back, they're going to test in between the sailings as well.
I think that's safe. I like that. That's fair.
Yeah, so that's really easy breezy for those cruise lines, right? So that's what's going on with them. Carnival, a little bit more complicated. So Carnival does have a policy for unvaccinated guests traveling on board their ships.
Okay.
So, and this includes outside of children, because the children can, and we'll get to that in a minute, but we're talking about adults. So for the most part, I'm going to say 99% of the time, what you have to do is you have to fill out an exemption form from having the vaccine. Now, you will not know if you are approved for the exemption until after your cruise is fully paid, and they start looking at those about 90 days before the sailing. So you may not know not long before your cruise whether or not you're able to go, unfortunately.
Okay.
So now, 99% of the time, the only exceptions that they're accepting for adults are medical. So in other words, you have a medical reason that you cannot take the vaccine. And, and none of these exemptions are guaranteed that they're going to get accepted. Let me say that. But for the ones that are getting accepted, vast majority of them are for medical reasons that said, you cannot get the vaccine because of a previous condition or a current condition that you have that prevents you from getting the vaccine. So that's the exemption there. And then, so if you're exempted from there, much like Royal Caribbean and Norwegian, you have to test 72 hours before and then again at the port. However, this time they charge though. So ages 2 to 5 is free. 5 to 12 years old is $60, and anybody over that age is $150 per person to test at the port
Can you say that one more time?
When you get there, free for 2 to 5.
Free for 2 to 5.
5 to 12 is $60. Anybody else over that is $150 at the port to get your test day of.
This is in addition to your cruise fare. This is not nothing that's included.
Yes.
So you have to pay out of pocket for that.
Yep. And so that's
a big chunk of change.
And the non-vaccinated guests are capacity controlled, right? So they're still doing that 95%. I believe it's 95% vaccinated versus unvaccinated.
Okay.
So if there's a bunch of kids on there who, pretty much can go on these cruises, you may not get on. So I think the priority kind of goes to them because
they're trying to do what they can.
They're with families, yeah. So for all the cruise lines, no masks are mandatory anymore. They are optional. And then as we did the video the other day, numerous islands are open now, and you can travel safely around all the islands, regardless of your vaccination status.
That's great.
With a few exceptions that we mentioned in the video before. There are some exceptions to that, but a vast majority of the Caribbean islands, you can just enjoy the island at your leisure.
Okay, great.
So yeah, that's about it. And with Carnival, right, the same testing process is still in place. 2 days, 48 hours before the cruise for vaccinated guests. You can do up to 72 hours if you have the vaccine and a booster. So if you had the booster, you can do 3 days before the cruise, but 2 days for everybody else who has vaccines.
Okay. If you missed it, make sure you watch it back, because this video is chock full of information. You may have to go get a pen and paper and write it down. You may have to kind of watch it 2 or 3 times to know before you cruise with your kids. Or if you're unvaccinated, you really want to know how could you enjoy the cruise, make sure you replay it. And when you watch it on replay, just hashtag replay down below and let us know if you have any questions, because we like to continue this conversation on Mr. Traveler Cruise Lovers, where you can follow us on Facebook, Mr. Traveler 74 on Instagram. I'm El Cost Glam. I'm on YouTube and Instagram. We love to find friends, this family, and we would love to be a part of your adventures on the ocean. Give us a call at 877-697-4470, or we can be reached at www.mr-traveler.com. We'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have, because I know you're going to have questions after you see this video.
Woo! All right, guys, so we shall see what the future holds. But
yes.
For right now, that is the goods
gist of it.
On getting on the cruise ships, and we'll watch and see what happens. So
it feels good to be back in front of you, in front of this camera. We miss each and every one of you. We'll be moving in less than a month, so we'll be really set up and ready to go and back on our filming schedule. Thank you so much for not leaving our channel. We love each and every one of you. 33,000 subscribers. We have over 13 million views on our channel, and we love each and every one of you. Thank you for hanging in there with us, OGs.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Life's short.
Have fun.
See the world.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.